joy and life to you from God, who is good, who turns all things toward good, and whose desire it is that your life be good in every way, in what you do, in what you experience, in the life you lead, and in receiving and recognizing all the blessings given you by God, your Creator, Redeemer, and Sustainer. Have you ever noticed how God can take terrible, horrible, no good, very bad days or behavior or events or lives and turn them completely around, bending them to an improbable degree, until suddenly, there it is. There's the good. God seems to do that so much, it almost appears to be a habit. That's what I want to focus on this week after Easter, when we've just remembered how God took the horror of the crucifixion and turned it into the triumph of the resurrection. Beginning this week with 2 Corinthians 5, verses 14 and 15, which says, "The love of Christ urges us on, because we are convinced that one has died for all. Therefore, all have died. And he died for all, so that those who live might live no longer for themselves, but for him who died and was raised for them." This is the word of the Lord. And here are my thoughts. For Paul, who wrote that letter, the resurrection is a given. He's long past being amazed that God did something so unexpected, so improbable, so mind-blowing. He even takes for granted what was then the very new and quite radical idea theologically, at least outside of Christian circles, that Jesus died on behalf of us all. He mentions only in passing his view that, in a way, we have died with him. Not literally, not yet, but by putting to death what we were so that we can rise in this life to something new and better. That's the key to this verse. Yes, Paul refers to Christ's death and resurrection, but his focus here is not so much on the resultant general promise of eternal life for believers as it is on a specific impact on this life and the way we live here and now. Life after death benefits us, not others, in many ways. So does eternal life for those we love. Paul wants us to live for others, not for ourselves. To think about them, pray for them, care about them, serve them, to be driven to love them, urged on by the love that Jesus has for us. That may not be as dramatic a turnaround as the one we celebrate on Easter, but given human nature, that bend toward the good is almost as improbable. Give thanks and praise to God, who is able to do the impossible, even with us. And here's my quote for you today. Richard Holloway says in The Way of the Cross that at the very moment of hopelessness, when we confront, possibly for the first time, what we really are, that very moment is the resurrection now. We cannot live the resurrection life until we have faced unflinchingly the reality of what we are. We must die if we are to rise again. I'll leave you with a blessing. May you be melted, molded, filled, and used by God in ways you never thought possible. In the process, may you die to yourself so that God may raise you to new and abundant life, not just in the hereafter, but now. God bless you in that journey, now and always. Amen.